The shocking part, however, is especially its user-friendliness. And in that moment, you can see the IP, the location, and many other details of that person. And you will see live what happens. And then one can basically make calls that they actually did not want at all. These two charging cables here are completely identical, and when you plug them in, they will charge your device. However, the one we have marked has a built-in chip, and therefore it can do a lot more. Because when you plug this into your phone, laptop, or tablet, you are granting the hacker, who may have somehow sent it to you and is not physically present but somewhere far away, complete control over your devices. He can see where you are via geo-tracking, can download everything, and now here comes the kicker. Like in a James Bond film, there is a self-destruction mechanism here in case it gets discovered in the end. And that is why we want to show you in this self-experiment why you should never use foreign cables and how alarmingly easy it is so that really anyone can hack with the gadget. It was developed by the company Hack. Hack is also a YouTube channel that was founded in 2005. They have always focused on the topics of hacking, online security, and especially on fancy technology business. The whole thing is developed by the security researcher Mike Grover. He has called it the OMG Cable. It costs $140 and is now being sold in limited quantities. That means it's not so unlikely that someone from you or someone from us has already had this cable in some device. How often have you returned from vacation and suddenly found a cable that you didn't even need anymore? Did you mix it up, or is it someone else's? Had a slightly different color? It doesn't matter, you just plug it in. These cables, because they look exactly like any other cable, are practically invisible. That means you use it without thinking about it. But the special thing now is that there is a small microchip in the cable. And this microchip does the following. It essentially creates its own Wi-Fi network. This Wi-Fi network is set up the moment you plug it into your device. The power comes from the device. This means that this Wi-Fi network does not require any additional power supply, and this Wi-Fi network transmits all the data to the person who has access, and according to the manufacturer, it can actually be up to 1.6 kilometers away, meaning it does not necessarily need to have access to your home Wi-Fi. Such gadgets are called attack hardware, and there are not only charging cables like the OMG cable, but also USB sticks, Wi-Fi stations, and many other devices. Mr. Who's the Boss, a very big YouTuber from the USA, also made a video where he tested not only this cable, but also others. I'll link it below so you can check it out. The shocking part, however, is especially its user-friendliness. With this cable, you also get a small instruction manual. However, there are really only about 5 steps, and then you should be able to set up a console. I would say, let's do this now, maybe watch 1 or 2 more videos, and then we'll see each other at the desk and test this together. It actually took a bit longer. We were on Discord until 4 a.m. and I have to say, their community is really amazing. No matter what question we had, we received an answer right away. At the beginning, you go to this instruction page where there is a link to GitHub and, as mentioned, to this community Discord. And on this GitHub page, you can see exactly how the installation works. Step number 1 is that you need to update the OMG cable. It's relatively simple. You just buy this small part, this programmer, directly on the website. It gets connected there, then it connects to the computer, and usually it's all a web interface that you open and you can do it directly. It didn't work, so we had to do it manually, and that took us about an hour and a half until we could say, okay, this cable is ready to hack, because then you create this Wi-Fi in the console where we will later log in as the perpetrator, which ensures that we have this data transfer. Now comes the part where the cable needs to be placed, and we will handle this simply for demonstration purposes. This phone is the victim phone. That is also not connected to my Wi-Fi or anything. It is completely separate. We have already tested this. For example, someone is standing down there now, and we will find out if it really is this 1.5 kilometers until it works up here. And I can already spoil it. We have also found a way to gain completely geographical freedom as hackers to access such a phone. So we are now connecting the OMG cable here, and you will see live what happens. And we have decided that this here is our hacking device, so to speak. It doesn't have to be a phone. It can be a laptop, an iPad. It just needs to be a device that is connected to the internet. This means that the scripts we are about to execute are on here. I will now hand it over to Chris, who is sitting across from me. This is the victim phone. See live what's happening. These scripts are available on the console page, but you can write your own and upload community scripts. Really powerful. We'll show a few, but let's start with something simple. Specifically, a script that simply triggers the camera so that a picture is taken. And you can see here Chris is pressing on it, and now it opens up and takes a picture of our perpetrator. Of course, it must be said that if one takes such a picture and at that moment the victim has the phone in hand, it is clearly visible. So the script is not invisible, it is actually executed on the mobile phone. What you can also do, and this is script number 2, is make a call. This means just pressing a button, and now from this phone, as you can see here, someone is simply called. And then one can basically make calls that they actually did not want at all. Script number 3, and this is now a community script, and it really packs a punch. It also takes a little time, so Chris, feel free to press it now. It will be executed here shortly. And this is an email forwarding script. That means you can see something moving here. If at that moment the victim does not have the phone in hand and sees it, then from that point on, all emails will go to your email account. We have now set it up so that ideally a pop-up will appear here, and I have this forwarding to my Gmail. And of course, you don't really check like, hey, did I actually set up such a forwarding or not? And you see Gmail team confirmation of the forwarding from Chris's email address. If I confirm here, I will receive all emails from now on. And I have to say that depending on whether you are doing this on Android or iPhone, the scripts are slightly different. So it works on both types of phones. Some have also commented on the last video about phone hacking, saying that it only works on Android. No, it works on both, but you often have to add a slight delay in these scripts. For example, if the Android is a bit slower, or the iPhone is slow because there are so many apps on it, then it may happen that such a script is sometimes not executed because it is too fast, and the iPhone or Android is loading too slowly. You have to check it out a bit, but in this case, it worked perfectly. And script number 4 is opening websites. This may sound simple at first, but there is a lot of devilishness behind it. What we have done, for example, is create an IP logger page, which we will open here shortly, and in that moment, you can see the IP, the location, and many other details of that person. What one can also do, and this actually only works on Android now, is to simply call up a remote access Trojan in the browser. It then downloads, is on the phone, and afterwards becomes invisible. You saw it in the other video. And from then on, the hacker doesn't actually need to be face-to-face or 1.6 kilometers away. They simply have access to your phone from anywhere. You are completely blind and everyone else sees everything you do. So this is just a small selection of the provided scripts and the community scripts. If you start to delve into it a bit and understand how it works, you can do anything. You can take a picture and send it to yourself. You can open any URL and much, much more. We have already seen a few very, very diabolical things, and we will play around with it a bit more in the next few days, and then I will report back with a conclusion. Yes, we continued a bit further and also read in forums about what scripts people are really trying out. So we really pay attention to what these foreign cables are about and would love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Are you interested in this topic in general? If so, there might be a follow-up video. For example, we also ordered this gadget here. It raised over $4 million through crowdfunding and is coming out this August. With it, you can control barriers and such. Also, very, very fancy. If you're up for it, we can make a video about that too. Otherwise, what we can't confirm are those 1.6 kilometers. We actually started from our office and just checked when the signal for the Wi-Fi was lost. And I have to say it was more like 300 meters than 1.6 kilometers. But of course, it also depends on the walls, how is the reception, are there any sources of interference, and so on. But for us, it was more like 300 meters. So you could stand in front of the building and still have access, but if you moved further away, it was gone. Otherwise, I hope you enjoyed the video. Feel free to leave a like and, as mentioned, subscribe to the channel.